Hello, wonderful teachers, and welcome to this training video on assignments. So today I'm going to teach you all kinds of cool things that you can do with assignments, and whether you're new to Circle as a teacher or whether you're just wanting to learn a little bit more about the newest version of the ELC that we have, which is 2.8, this video is for you. So first off, as always, we have to turn editing on. Until we do this, we can't really do a whole lot of editing on our page. Now that that is all set to go, let's go ahead and play around with some assignments. So in this course, which is a test version of my writing and lit course for 7th grade, there are just tons of assignments, partly because, oh, wow, that got really excited about going down. There we go. All right, so anyways, there are tons of assignments in this class because I prefer to have my students upload their work on the ELC to save me time when it comes to carrying around papers, and because I can type back faster than I can write by hand. So first off, let's ignore all of the ones that I've already created and create a brand new one. Now, in my case, what I like to do oftentimes is actually leave all of the writing assignments up at the very top in that general area where you have the welcome and all of that. You certainly can put them absolutely anywhere on your page. For me, this is just the most convenient place to do it. So, since that's where I want to put it, I'm going to go ahead, come to the very bottom of that. As you can see, week 1 is hanging out right here. And I'm going to click Add an Activity or Resource. So whatever week that you would like your assignment on, go ahead and click Add an Activity or Resource. Now, of course, we're going to click on our first option, which is an assignment, and click Add. Now, once we've done this, we can go ahead and start creating our assignment. So first off, we need to give it a name. So in this case, I'm going to give it the name, let's see, they're going to write a literary critique. We're getting fancy here. So to help them know for sure what they need to do using this link, I'm going to do upload literary critique. And then I can give a brief description. So remember to upload your literary critique. Oops, can't spell today. Before 9 a.m. on June 30th. I can also give some more intensive directions here if I would like. Now, if I have a file that I want students to be able to use, so for example, say you have a template and you want them to fill it out, you can actually upload that file right here. If you plan on using like a paper rubric as opposed to the rubrics that are built into the ELC, you could also upload that here as well. It's pretty cool stuff. Now, the next thing that you'll notice is the availability box. This tells the ELC how long the assignment is allowed to be open for. So, first off, say for instance, we've been writing this literary critique for weeks, but I want them to go ahead and see the rubric and things that I've uploaded, but I don't want them to be able to begin submitting things until we're closer to the actual due date. I can actually control that. So if I have allow submissions from, I can actually tell it when it's allowed to start accepting submissions. However, we're not going to do that today, so I'm going to click unenable. Now the next thing that we have is the due date. So for those of you who want to go ahead and do that, this is actually a fantastic way of making sure that your students know exactly when an assignment is due. It shows up on their calendar. It shows up pretty much anywhere that upcoming events show up. So there's absolutely no way that they should be able to miss that something is due as long as they're getting on the ELC. So since I said it was June 30th, let's go ahead and type that in. And 2015, I can adjust the time. You'll notice that it is on a 24-hour clock as opposed to, it's military time as opposed to, you know, AM, PM, 12 hours. So anyways, we also can add a cutoff date, which basically means, say for instance, that you teach on both campuses, and you want to make sure that students can't continue to upload work after it's due, you could do this. So that way they actually can't upload things. Not necessarily the most helpful for this, depending on what your methodology is, But if you absolutely want to cut off if they can upload things, that is your way to do it. If you do that, though, I strongly suggest having a um, a place where they can upload late work, because otherwise they will get frustrated and start emailing you. So anyways, next thing that we've got is submission types. So there are two different ways that I can set this up. The first way is online text. Online text basically looks just like the description box or any other box that we have here where you can type text. This is great for very short assignments. So say you want your students to write a quick paragraph as a reflection on a movie that they watched, or type in some quick answers. Perfect for that. Otherwise, for longer works, I would strongly suggest file submission. Why? Because first of all, it encourages them to write it offline, so Lord forbid something happens to their internet connection, they don't lose their work. And also because it just makes it more convenient for them to be able to come back and work on things. So in this case, I'm going to leave it on file submissions, and then I can tell it how many uploaded files they can do. So usually I don't leave just one. Usually I put 3, so that way if something weird happens, then I can change it. Though, let's see, for the sake of showing things off, let's go ahead and do online text as well. Now you'll see that you can also add a word limit if it's online text. So say you are trying to teach your students to write succinctly, you can make it so that they can only write 500 words, or you can leave it off. Let's see, those are all of the options you need to worry about there. So for this example, I'm going to do online text and file submissions, so my students have some options. The next thing I want to do is feedback. Let's see, this allows me to indicate whether or not I want to put comments, and also whether or not I want to do feedback files. Now, as an English teacher, I find doing feedback files very handy because it allows me to actually download their work, do a critique on it, and then upload the work with my comments on it. So in my case, I would click on feedback files. If you don't plan on that though, you can just leave feedback types alone. Next one is submission settings. So usually we are going to leave this first button on no. You can have them accept a submission statement. So for instance, if you want them to acknowledge something before they upload it, they can do that. Let's see, that's pretty much all you need to worry about there. Let's see, next up is notifications. This one's a handy one. It can have it can send you an email every time that a student uploads work. Now, this is great if, for instance, you're using this as a place for students to upload just late work. However, I'm going to be honest with you. When I have, about 40 students between the 2 campuses in this one class, and it emails me every single time one of them uploads something, it is the most obnoxious thing ever. So you might want to leave that on no. However, if you only have a few students, or for if it's late work, or if there's another reason that you want to get emails, go for it. Let's see, you can also have it tell you or email you about late submissions. This is really handy. So that way, say I've started grading and something does come in late, it'll email me to let me know which students sent their work in late and what time it was. So that way I have it right off the top of my head. I have it in my email. It makes it really easy to find. It also will actually email your students. Yay! Which is a feature we haven't had work for quite a while. So we are thrilled to have this back. All right, next up, grade. This is very important. So most of the time you are going to use a point style system. You can type in the maximum number of points. So since this is a larger assignment, I'm going to leave it at 100. Typically 100 is the max. So plan your assignments accordingly. There are several different grading methods that we can use. One is simple direct grading. Basically all that means is I read their assignment, I type in 100, we're done. Another method that you can use that's very handy is a rubric, but we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. The next thing that I need to do is add a grade category. So this means that I need to put this assignment in a category. Otherwise, it is going to do weird things to my gradebook, and okay, I'll come back through and I'll cry later. So go ahead and throw it in a category. So because this is a writing assignment, I'm going to put this in the appropriate place, spring writing assignments. Let's see, don't really need to worry about any of this. Don't really need to worry about any of the other options. So what I'm going to do now is click Save and Display. And this will show me what my students will see as well as some tools for me. So as you can see, here's the title of it, my quick set of directions that I put. It'll show me how many participants are in my class, how many essays are submitted, or I'm sorry, assignments are submitted once they are submitted, how many are going to need grading, so however many I haven't graded yet, it'll show me. Shows me the due date, how much time remains, and of course, it also shows me my submission, but I, of course, don't have one, so we don't have to worry about that. However, it does make for a great test if you want to make sure that things are working properly. Now, real quick, let me show you how you can grade these from outside of the gradebook. This is super handy and really easy to work with. So, oh, that's right, I don't have anybody in this class. In that case, I'll take you to another one in just a moment. But anyways, normally you would click on that. It would bring you to a place where all of your students are, all of their submissions, current grade, all that cool stuff. So, that is all for right at this moment. I will show you some other cool features in just a second. Alrighty, so we are back to our Upload Literary Critique, that main page there. And so let me show you a little bit about how to grade these things. So like I said, the easiest way is to actually use this module. So let's go ahead and click on View Grade All Submissions. All right, now here you'll notice that I have 3 students now. Yay! And as you can see, all 3 of them have submitted or not submitted a little differently. So first student hasn't submitted anything, so I can tell that because the status is no submission. As you can see, there's no grade and there's nothing really going on here. Let's see. My second student has submitted something for grading. No grade yet. I have the date and time when they last modified their submission, which is really handy. This way you can easily tell if something is late or not. I also have what their file submission is. So as you can see, they opted for file submission instead of online text. And then my third student has submitted something. I haven't graded it yet. Here's the time that they uploaded it, and they did an online text. So first off, let's go ahead and start with my student who has uploaded a file. Now, the easiest way to handle this is to actually click on this edit button and hit grade. This will bring me to a page that that brings like everything into one place. So as you can see, it has all that basic information that I had from before. And so what I can do is click on their assignment, since they have given me one that I can download. At the bottom of the screen where you can't see, it has a little bar that asks me, you know, what I want to do with the file. So I'm going to say open. It downloads it, and then it opens up Excel, which is where it's at, and there we go. My assignment is right here. So this way I can actually see what is going on. I can read the assignment, take a look at it, and then grade from there. Now, since the student did well, let's go ahead and give them a 99. There we go. I can also give some feedback here. Great job. And then if I made any adjustments, like say I was typing on their essay, I can actually drag it in, just like we can with any other file, and drop it here, upload it, and there we go. Now, instead of going back to that first page that I was at, what I can actually do is go to this option, which is Save and Show Next. This will actually show me the next student in the list instead of me having to continue to hit Save Changes and then go back to the next page. So, Save and Show Next. And here's my second student, the one that went ahead and actually did an online text submission. So, as you can see, it gives me a little bit of a preview here, but to see the whole thing, I'm going to click on this. Now, to make this easier for myself, what I can actually do if you're using a PC, and I believe somehow you can do this with a Mac, is you can open it. Oh, never mind. Oh, that's because it's even cooler now. So you can actually open it up to see the full online text without actually having to go to a new page, which is something that we had to do in the past. So I can actually read the entire submission. I can give my grade here, and I can give feedback. And again, even though I don't have a file that I've downloaded, because I had feedback files on, my feedback file is still here. And as you can see, it says notify student. Yes, I'm going to say no because I don't want to confuse people. Save changes. Alrighty, I'm going to hit continue because it acknowledges all my grades were saved. So as you can see, I now have my grades showing up right here. Talk about awesome. Now, let me show you one last thing that we can do. Obviously, my student who didn't upload something, I can go ahead and put a 0 in here, but I'm going to show you another way that we can do this. It's even cooler. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to go to my grades. And from here, as you can see, it has a whole list of all of the assignments that I have due so far. And we've got to go a little ways because it's in the spring. There it is. Okay, so what I can do is actually click on this button right here for single view. This is really, really awesome. So what I can do is perform a bulk insert. It can find everybody that hasn't submitted, that doesn't have anything in there, and automatically add a 0. So perform a bulk insert for empty grades, add a 0, update, and boom, there we go. Talk about cool. So that means that now, instead of having to go through and find all of the assignments that haven't had anything submitted, I actually can just grade them this way. It makes it way easier. And it also will update in the other area as well. So back where we were originally grading. So let me go back there. Here it is. And as you can see, oh, it doesn't show it here. That's strange. Well, it does show it in the grade book. Well, anyways, we can also add the grade here if you wanted to. So you can hit grade. Oh, it already says 0's there. I can add a comment. Remember to upload your assignment by 7/19 for credit. And then I can hit save changes. I'm only changing that so that way I'm not actually emailing everybody. But leaving it on yes is a great thing to do. All right, and as you can see, it shows my feedback comments, shows the final grade. It's just really cool like that. Now, one other thing that I can do from here is actually grant submission or grant extensions. So say, for example, my student was sick and they need a week extension. I can actually do that. I can do the extension due date and go ahead and say, I'll give you until July 10th, save changes. And it will go ahead and update that for them. And as you can see, it actually adjusts it right here. So really, really cool new feature that is super, super handy. Alrighty, so in a moment we're going to talk about rubrics, which are one of my favorite things. So hang tight for one last thing. All right, imagine with me for a moment that you wanted to use a rubric in your assignment. Now, first off, you might be wondering, why would I want to do a rubric instead of doing just straight up grading? The reason for this is with different kinds of assignments, it really helps to have a very easy layout for what you're expecting students to accomplish. And instead of making an extra document and uploading that, you can actually create this rubric on the ELC. So let's go ahead and do that with uploading our literary critique. Now, to go ahead and change this, let's try out a new feature that we've got here. As you can see, I still have editing on, and I've come back to the main page, and here, as you can see, I have the name of the assignment, and if I go over to edit here and click on edit settings, there are several other options available as well, but that's the one that I want for right now. Now, once I'm here, I'm back in that page where I can edit all kinds of things. And from here, I can just change what I want to. So I know it's a grade thing, and I know that's the grading method. So instead of simple direct grading, I want to do a rubric. So once I do that, I'm going to click Save and Display to create my rubric. Now, if you haven't created a rubric before, then the easiest thing to do is click Define a new form. So we're going to create one, and I'm going to give it some sort of name to make a description. So literary critique rubric. This way I know exactly what it is. And I can also search for my rubrics as I go along. So if I've made a bunch of them, like I have in this course actually, then I can actually search through them and use them as a template for another rubric. So let's go ahead and go through a couple of things I'd like my students to do. I want them to include their name, date, and the course in the top left corner of the page. And so I'm going to be very specific about that. Now, of course, how specific you are just depends on your students, their age, exactly what you're trying to accomplish with this. But since I have 7th and 8th graders, I like to be super, super, super specific. So I'm going to tell them what makes for 0 points next. Since I have what the criteria is, we're going to create what they call levels. So the different point values. So I can write things like incomplete or not included, something like that, and obviously have something that's worth 0 points. Now say that it's partially complete and I want to be able to give them 1 point for it. I can do that. Oops, partially complete. And I can leave it at 1 point. And then if they've done it, I can write complete, leave it as 2 points, and there we go. Now, let's go ahead and add another thing. I want them to have analyzed the text. Let's see. Now from here, I can make these descriptions as long as I want to. So for example, if it's analysis of the text, I can say, and it's worth no points, like this is not worth anything, I can say things like not complete. I can say things like does not show effort in analyzing the text. I can say basically whatever I want to here to make it nice and specific for them. And as you can see, it resizes as we go along. Perhaps for 3 points, let's see, because we want this to be a maximum of 10 points, which I'll show you in a moment, then I can put what's worth 3 points. Maybe it's has some basic thought involved, but doesn't explore theme to full potential. You know, I can get as specific as I want to. Doesn't develop theme. There we go. Theme to full potential. And then the cool thing is I can actually add a level. So if I want to have more ability to adjust the grade, I can do that. It also gives me some more flexibility, so that way if I don't just want 3, I can do more than 3. If I want just 2, then I can do just 2. So analysis of text, well developed, oops, and there we go. So this basically is my rubric. So let's go ahead and just leave this as is for now. So I'm going to pretend that I have done all kinds of ones and I'm ready. Oh, by the way, let me show you how to do if you want to delete some. So say I want complete or incomplete for including your name, date, and the course. After all, it's one of those things you should know how to do. I can just click this, say that I want it deleted, and it'll go away. So I can add as many levels, which is the number of points available, as I want to. And I can also add as many criterion, which is the different things that I'm looking for, as I want as well. I usually don't play with any of these options. I just leave them alone. So like I said, we're going to pretend that this is my rubric, this is all I'm looking for, and I'm going to save rubric and make it ready. This means they'll automatically go ahead and apply to this assignment. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to want to do, as you can see, the grading criteria is only worth 12 points now. So one of the things that I want to do is try to make that number, this 12 points possible, and the actual number of points in the assignment the same. So I'm going to double check and make sure they're the same. So I'm going to click Edit Settings under the Administration and hit Grade. And it says the maximum points is 100, so I'm going to go ahead and change that to 12, so that way it matches my rubric. It's not something that you have to do, but it makes it way easier for students and you to know what exactly they're getting for a grade. So since I want to go ahead and see it, I'm going to hit Save and Display. Now from here, I can go ahead and view and submit view and grade the grades again. Now this time, what'll happen, my student here already has a submission, is I can actually use the rubric to update their grade. So as you can see, instead of just having a plain box that says, what do you want the grade to be? I actually have the rubric here and I can click on it. So yeah, they did include their name and the course and all of that, but they didn't quite develop the theme to its full potential. If I were to hit save, it would now save this as 7 points out of 12 potential points. The other cool thing, I can give very specific comments right over here. So let's see. See me for more thoughts on how to improve your paper. And then up here I can say, awesome job. This way students can get some more specific feedback, which can be very helpful, especially if you're planning on using a rubric. There's probably a reason why you chose the different grades that you have. So it helps them to better understand what's going on. And so then I can hit Save Changes, and as you can see, it updates the grade. Now, of course, this one isn't upgraded because it was out of 100, so we can go ahead and change that as well. So again, hit Update Grade, go through the rubric, adjust it. Don't have to put feedback, but we can give more specific feedback if we want to. Oops. Sorry, people, if I keep sending you emails. Hit Save Changes, and there we go. So the grades are now completely updated both here and in the grade book. So that's a little bit about how to use rubrics and assignments in general. So as always, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm always here for you, and have an awesome day.